Hola Coolers, how you doing guys? It's been a minute and I'm excited to be back with yet another video on the channel guys, just after the international break, because it has quite clearly been a successful international break for Barca because we have not had to deal with a lot of injury problems. Well, Fermin Lopez unfortunately got injured on international duty for Spain, but thankfully he would not be out for so long. So that is not something that we should be causing our luck over. And also, some of our other players, there were some injury scares to some of our other players, like the likes of Dani Olmo. He picked up a knock in Spain's first game of the international break, and unfortunately, he had to sit out the second game against Switzerland on Sunday. And he flew back to Barca and he prepared for the weekend's coming La Liga game against Girona, which is a Catalan derby. So the doctors of Barca have also confirmed that there is no serious injury with Dani Olmo. It was just a precautionary measure for him to sit out the Spain game and fly back to Barca. And also in that second game of Spain's international break, it was against Switzerland in Geneva, we also saw Luis de la Fuente's handling of some of the Barca players in his roster, because after an unexpected red card to Robert Lewandowski in the first half, he had to substitute Pedri. He substituted Pedri around the 28-minute mark or so, and then Pedri had to take a rest for the rest of the game, and Lamine Yamal was also substituted at halftime, bro. So he sat out the rest of the second half, and all the players have flown back and have resumed Barca duty in very good peak condition. Also, we saw Lewandowski having an injury knock and injury scare during Poland's first game of the international break, but he was able to play the second game as well. It was a narrow defeat in their second game. It was a defeat against Croatia where they fell to the timeless Luka Modric, bro. Luka Modric scored a timeless free kick against Poland that condemned them to a 1-0 defeat. But that is not really our concern as Barca fans, because we are not Poles. We are Barca fans, and our major concern in that game was the fitness and the condition of Robert Lewandowski. Thankfully, Lewandowski went through that game unscathed as well, and he has also rejoined the group. He is ready and fully available for the weekend's Catalan derby against Girona, because don't forget, last season Girona had the beating of Barca, bro. Home and away, it was two successive 4-2 losses, both at the Montjuic and at Montilivi. So Barca really has something to prove when we face Girona after this international break this weekend. And it's an exciting time for us Barca fans, because we are going to see our beloved team who have been impressing all of us so far this season yet again on the weekend when we face Girona in that Catalan derby with a point to prove, because just like I mentioned a few minutes ago or a few seconds ago, we lost 2-4 and 4-2. Two occasions we were defeated, and we were clearly second best to Girona last season. So this time around, it is time for us to rewrite the script. And what a way to start the week, because congratulations to the manager Hansi Flick on his excellent start to his life as the Barca manager, because he was crowned the La Liga manager of the month for the month of August. And also congratulations to Lamine Yamal, because he was also crowned the best under-23 player in the Spanish league for the month of August. And it is very difficult to say that these two guys, Lamine Yamal and Hansi Flick, do not deserve these accolades, because Barca have had a perfect start to the league season. 4 wins out of 4, 12 points, sitting pretty at the top of the La Liga table. So it was no-brainer that Hansi Flick would have been named the manager of the month for August. And also, if you look at the contributions of Lamine Yamal during the month of August as well, it is no-brainer that Lamine Yamal was also named the best young player in the Spanish league. Do not forget that he popped up with 4 assists and added a goal to his collection during the month of August for a brilliant start to the season, and he continued it during the international break with Spain as well, where he also bagged a nomination for the famous Ballon d'Or and also for the Golden Boy and Copa Trophy award. And I'm very sure that Lamine Yamal is the favorite to win the Golden Boy award for this year. But now, if I do move on to some more good news when it comes to the injury front, it is the fact that this week we have witnessed the return to training and fitness of Ansu Fati, guys, because Ansu Fati, do not forget, he was injured in July, bro. He was injured during the course of preseason. It was said that he was one of the players that was impressing Hansi Flick a lot during the course of the preseason training. Unfortunately, the injury setback came, but thankfully, Ansu Fati is back in training. He was training on his own earlier in the week, but this time around, according to Rack 1, Ansu Fati was training with the group. As at Tuesday, he was training with the group, and it is expected that Ansu Fati would likely be making the bench for this weekend's game against Girona in La Liga. And I am very, very excited to have Ansu Fati back, because it is easy to forget how good of a talent that Ansu Fati can be on his day. When he is fit, when he is firing, Ansu Fati can be a game changer, guys, because when we look at the spell that he had at Brighton and the period he had at Barca when he struggled before he was loaned out, it is easy to forget how brilliant of a player Ansu Fati can be. Let me also add the fact that Ansu Fati is still only just 21 years old. He broke onto the scene quite very early in his career at a very young age, so it seems like Ansu Fati has been around for a very long time, but bro is still only 21 years old and he has his whole future ahead of him. What Ansu Fati lacks at this moment in time is confidence, guys, and I just believe that Ansu Fati working in the Hansi Flick system, it is very possible that we might just get to see the best of Ansu Fati yet again, because let's not forget that when Ansu Fati broke onto the scene in his first seasons as a Barca player, when he just exploded, Ansu Fati was very sharp in front of goal. Ansu Fati is a player that had ice in his veins when he was faced with a goal scoring opportunity, and I don't believe that all of a sudden Ansu Fati has lost that magical touch in front of goal, because of course with the injury his body may have slightly altered, there might have been a change in his body, but the class is still there. What Ansu Fati needs right now is to get that confidence back, and I believe that with the confidence that Hansi Flick has in him, if he gets more opportunities, Ansu Fati is one player that I believe he is going to explode under the guidance of Hansi Flick. And let's not kid ourselves, we all know that Ansu Fati is not a player that you would want to be needing too many touches on the ball before he makes an impact. He is not that kind of a player. That is not the profile of Ansu Fati. Ansu Fati is a player that I feel is going to gel in this current system that Barca are operating in, because if you look at all Barca's games so far in the league under Hansi Flick, Barca's front four, should I say front four, because most of the time when players are starting out from the wing, be it Rafinha, be it Lamine Yamal, be it Ferran Torres, they don't actually hog the touchline, bro. They all congest the penalty area of the opposition, and this is a strategy that I feel is going to work to the strengths of Ansu Fati, because there is no secret about the fact that Ansu Fati is a beast in front of goal. He is clinical. He is a clinical finisher. He has had a hard time in the past few years, but there is no taking away the fact that Ansu Fati is a clinical finisher. He just needs that confidence, and I believe one goal, just a goal, would be just enough to help him to rediscover that confidence gradually, because once he has that feeling and sense of smell of the goal again, Ansu Fati is going to do a lot with the Barca shed. One more thing I have to add is the fact that Ansu Fati needs to stay fit, bro, because in the last few seasons he has had a lot of struggles with injuries. So if Ansu Fati can stay fit and get an extended run of gameplay in the team, Ansu Fati is someone that I am sure is going to explode under the guidance of Hansi Flick. And to his advantage, he cannot just play in one position, because when he exploded onto the scene, when he burst onto the scene, we saw him operating more from the left. But as the game progresses, Ansu Fati is always making those runs into the opposition penalty area and taking chances away, most times not needing to take too many touches of the ball, but pumping in with aplomb and finishing chances off. And I believe that Ansu Fati still has that magic in him, and I believe that he is going to rediscover his form under Hansi Flick. And to his credit, he can also play as a number 9, and we heard Flick say a lot about that during the course of preseason, just before that heartbreaking injury that Ansu Fati suffered, which he has thankfully recovered from now. It was the fact that Ansu Fati can also play as a number 9. So maybe we can also see Ansu Fati playing as the substitute to Robert Lewandowski at times, because of course, let's not forget that we still have Paul Victor in the team, so he also deserves opportunities. But this is a good thing for us to have, because at this moment where we do not have a lot of squad depth, having all our players available is a big plus for us, and it is definitely going to help our chances of winning trophies when it comes to the end of the season. But unfortunately, guys, this is as good as we get when it comes to good news concerning the injury problems, because speaking about Frenkie de Jong, guys, I know we had high expectations that after the international break, Frenkie was likely to return to full fitness and availability to the coach. Once again, unfortunately, Frankie's injury does not seem to be improving, because we have heard reports that right now Frankie de Jong is not closer to returning to match action. He is not even training with the rest of the group in training. He is still feeling a lot of discomfort in that ankle area. This is an injury that has kept Frankie de Jong out since April, bro. So right now, this is about 5 months since Frankie de Jong has sustained that injury. He has been ruled out for about 5 months. But at this moment in time, it is not looking promising, because that ankle is still not looking good. He is still feeling pain. He's still feeling discomfort in that ankle. And the most puzzling aspect of this whole story is the fact that Frankie de Jong is opposed to the idea of undergoing surgery, bro. And I know a lot of us have been wondering, personally myself, I have been wondering, why doesn't this player want to go under the knife, guys? Because he has been out since April, bro. That is 5 months that Frankie de Jong has been out injured. He cannot contribute to the team. He cannot help the team. We all know the quality that Frankie de Jong possesses. But at this moment in time, Frankie de Jong is not going to be able to help the team. And at this time, it is frustrating for us as Barca fans, because we know how good this player can be. But he is not really interested in undergoing surgery, which of course would have helped his recovery and fast-tracked his return to the pitch to excite the fans again. But what I'm hearing now is statements that was made by Barca's presidential candidate during the previous elections, Victor Font. He said that he ran into Frankie by chance and they had a chat, and Frankie was telling him some of the possible reasons why he has decided against going under the knife and undergoing that surgery that would have seen him say goodbye to the ankle problem that has plagued his season and the end of last season for him so far. Mind you, Frankie also missed the Euros for the Netherlands with this same injury. But according to the words of Victor Font, he said that Frankie could not get some guarantees from the club that after the surgery, the operation was going to be successful. So it was still a risk for Frankie, apparently. That is why he is skeptical about undergoing surgery. But if you ask me firsthand, I would say that you have not undergone surgery at this point. You have been out for the best part of 5 months. You have missed 5 months of action with a lot going on, both for your national team and for your club, who are paying you ridiculously high wages, by the way. But that is a topic for another day. But Barca are paying Frankie de Jong ridiculously high wages at this point in time, and he cannot even contribute to the team. And it is even more frustrating when you look at the fact that with the quality that de Jong possesses, with what Hansi Flick is cooking with Barca at the moment, guys, imagine we had Frankie in that midfield. Imagine the quality that Frankie is going to add to that midfield. So this makes it all the more frustrating, because we cannot get to enjoy the quality of one of the best players in our team. And also, to add insult to injury, is the fact that Frankie de Jong's contract is running out in the summer of 2026. At this point, we do not know when Frankie is going to return to action on the pitch. I think at this point in time, if it prolongs further, Barca needs to come to a decision, because, guys, for me, surgery has to be done. This ankle problem has to be resolved once and for all, so that he can come back on the pitch, because he is not valuable to us off the pitch. He is more valuable to us on the pitch, because the issue with the wages and the salary is already there. There is nothing anybody can do about that. Personally, I don't want to get too much or too deep into talking about his salary and all of that, because first of all, these are terms that he and the club had agreed upon, and the club knew exactly the financial situation that they were in before signing on the dotted line for that contract and that offer to Frankie de Jong. So that is an internal issue that I believe they can find their way around. But it makes it all the more difficult that the player cannot even contribute. And to make matters worse, he is out of contract in the summer of 2026, guys. So 2024 is almost over. Once we get into 2025, before you know, the time flies by, guys. And the more the time goes and the more the time reduces and the more we draw closer to the end of his contract, the more his value drops. And this is a quality player that can fetch us a lot of money on the transfer market. So if it means that Barca has to sell this player, it is better to sell this player and cash out a reasonable sum than to also let the contract drag out and risk losing him either for a free transfer or for a significantly reduced sum. And it is also the same story with the situation of Ronald Araujo, guys, because his contract is also out in the summer of 2026. Anything from January 2026, he and Frankie de Jong, they will be free to start negotiating with overseas-based clubs for a potential free transfer in the summer of 2026. So this continues to weaken Barca's position when it comes to the contract situation of these players, because if these players, Araujo, mind you, is also one of the players that is out injured at the moment. He cannot return to action before the end of the year. So these are players that currently they can't really offer much through no fault of theirs, but the reality is that they cannot offer much to Barca on the pitch at this moment in time. But their contract situation should be a priority for the club. This is a situation that Barca really has to be on top of and make sure that they see that there is a resolution in the nearest future. Sooner rather than later, Barca really has to make it a priority to resolve the futures of Frankie de Jong and Ronald Araujo, because these are quality players. Of course, sometimes you have to wave goodbye to some of your best players, but it is more heartbreaking when you have to do that from a significantly weakened position, because you might not have to sell them for their actual values. And with their contract situation, this is the reality that is staring Barca right in the face, because these guys are quality players that I know a host of European giants are going to jump at the chance of signing them, and even better if they will be available for a cut price deal, which is what is going to happen if Barca are not able to resolve their contract situations. I know the situation with the finances are still not resolved yet, but Barca really needs to make it a priority to resolve the contract situations of Frankie de Jong and Ronald Araujo, guys. So let me know your thoughts on today's topics, guys. What do you make of the futures of Ronald Araujo and Frankie de Jong? And if you were Barca, would you make it a priority to sign these players on the dotted line and give them what they want to ensure that their futures remain in Catalonia? And let me know your thoughts on the impressions you got from Barca's players that headed out to the international break. Are you also as excited as myself that we do not suffer a lot of injury problems and most of our players have come back in peak and healthy condition to help us as the La Liga season continues this weekend with that game against Girona? Let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section down below, guys. And if you enjoyed this video, please do give this video a like, turn on your notification bell so that whenever I drop on the channel, you shall be notified. And most importantly, please do not forget to smash that subscribe button. But until next time, as always, Visca El Barça, and I'll see you on the next video. Adios.